Hey everyone, welcome back to Portable Spec. First, just want to apologize. I have like zero places right now to film this, so I am out on the balcony. I'll be moving soon anyway, so maybe in a month or two I will start streaming and so forth. But anyway, just welcome to the channel. Thank you for everybody, for all the followers who have joined over the past month or two. I don't really want to become like the Monster Hunter guy, but I know that a lot of my followers have come from the Monster Hunter videos and GameHub, so just big shout out to everybody. And essentially, this video is for them because I know that people have been having a lot of trouble with like the freezes and the dreaded shader cache building. Well, it's yeah, at the start it's just horrible. And I think I found a fix. So that's essentially what this is about. I'm currently like just reinstalling Rise as we speak because I just want to make sure that the changes that I've made are actually like replicated when just say somebody installs it for the first time and they just want to play for the first time and have the best settings, but it's kind of a bit of a pain because I know that a lot of people love just changing settings and playing around themselves. But this is kind of what's causing the issue, right? And this is what caused the issue for me when I just couldn't replicate what other people were seeing. And it's just because of this, the way the way it handles the shader cache. It isn't really Rise. I'd say more that it's the VKD 3D. We'll go into that as well. I'll have a few examples for you, and yeah, as I said, I mean, a big shout out to everybody that's commented and made me aware of the issues that they're having. I yeah, I just want to make sure that whatever settings that you have now, if it's running well, let's just fix those little things. Like let's fix that loading screen bug and let's fix the shader cache because yeah, this is like you should still be able to run it on the settings that you have. But if you're starting for the first time as well, this is just going to be a good basic setup for you. So yeah, let's dive in and I will see you back in the editing room. I don't, that's not really an edit, it's just a table that I sit at.
The very first thing that we need to check is in the components that you don't have anything else installed. I know that during testing sometimes, even myself, I love seeing what components I can install, whether it's Mono, whether it's Gecko, whatever. I install extra little bits, but I found these to actually, anything here kind of distorts the results that you get when you're testing because you don't really have a clear baseline, but B, if somebody else recommends settings, it can actually whatever their settings that they have, it might not actually work for you because you've got something else that's actually installed and running, which is actually gonna change the performance. So make sure nothing is here. If something is here, the only way that I have found that I can actually remove it from the component section is by actually reinstalling the game. So uninstall it and then reinstall the game. So it's like 40 gigabytes of download, and I know it might not be very feasible for some people, but just to be aware, this can affect performance and can induce crashes and so forth. So make sure your component section is clear. Second thing, in compatibility, make sure that your GPU driver is not below version 25. So this version, I know I've done a video with version 24.3.0, but unfortunately this one does not have the ability to essentially store the VKD3D cache. It's like a I'm not sure what it is that stops it, but it doesn't work, okay? I mean, you can still use this and play the game and it's safe and everything like that, but you're going to be loading the shaders every single time. So make sure that you're on a version that's higher And for this, we're going to be using the very highest that's available, the very newest that's available in GameHub. So again, I'm not using GameHub Lite, I'm using GameHub. Controls work in GameHub, but in GameHub Lite, your controls don't work apparently. I've had many comments of people where their controls aren't working. So regular GameHub, we're using this one. This is the best performance as well. It's been amazing. So we're using this. I'll put the settings, all the rest of the settings in the comment section. But I just want to point out that with the environment variables, you don't actually need to have any environment variables, okay? I just had something there because I needed to test something that I'll show you in a minute. But you don't need any environment variables for this, which is good, makes it much easier for a lot of people. But also I'm doing a deep dive on the environment variables to actually have a video with the measured impact of having the environment variables there. So right now, no environment variables, which is good. And as I said, I will put all the other settings in the comment section, in the description, sorry. So what we need to do to fix our shader cache, and you need to do this even if you need to do this even if you're say you want to change to this version, to this turnip driver, you want to change to this one. For Monster Hunter Rise, every time you change the turnip driver, you need to do this that we're about to go through. So we go into General. At the top of General, we're going to enter the desktop. And in here, we go to the X drive, which is the drive for every game on GameHub. When you enter the desktop, there'll be an X drive, and this is like the root folder for the game, where the game is. So we're just going to sort by modify, and I'll expand this so we can see the names. So here we can see there's a config ini, shader cache 2. This is another shader cache file, and we have another shader cache file here. So essentially what I was doing in order to kind of create this shader cache, that's why I had the environment variables. I was trying to break it just for you guys so you can see that maybe your folder is going to look like this with all these files. So every time that we change the environment variables, the turnip driver, it needs to rebuild the shader cache. It needs to rebuild it based on the parameters of that turnip driver. So we need to make sure that we are essentially giving it a clean slate when it does this, because sometimes, as we can see here, we've got two like files. The right file is like a temporary file versus this kind of solid file of the VKD3D cache. So I'm not going to delve too much into it. We just want the fix, right? So let's just highlight these. We two-finger tap to right-click, and then we're going to delete all of these. Okay, so even if you haven't changed your turnip driver and you just want to fix the problem of the shaders building every single time, this is the way to do it, because you probably got one of those temporary write files in here. So that write file is like every single time going to be like temporarily writing and not able to, I guess, save the new foundation because another file exists and it can't overwrite it. So this is probably causing you your problems at the moment. So delete those 3 files. You might only have 2 files, but just delete them. And then you can either come to start or apps shutdown, or click the X at the top to close. And now when we run the game, it's gonna do what we all love to hate, which is building a shader cache. So it needs to build this from the start. because we've just deleted it, right? Or yeah, like I said, maybe we're changing turnip drivers. So yeah, we're going from the very beginning and rebuilding. It's not as simple as just deleting those files, because we need to do something to make sure that these files are, I guess, saved, because the write file that I was talking about, the .write file, essentially has a how to put it, so every time you quit the game normally, the .write file will essentially be converted to the normal file, the .cache file. So if you have .cache.write, it means that this is like the temporary file that's being created while Monster Hunter is open. So it's like creating. So we can see here we're compiling the shaders. So yeah, every time the game is running, it's basically creating this cache for you to store. So every time you encounter the shader in the game, every time you enter an area or whatever, you don't have to rebuild the shaders every time, right? This is the purpose of having a cache file. So here we are now. We've built the temporary file, which is good, and it's still going to be a temporary file, but we need to, if we were to force quit the game now, force quitting will essentially corrupt I should say could potentially corrupt this file. So imagine you were testing on a version that is quite buggy, and I know a lot of people probably encountered the flickering trees issue that happens when you're testing turnip drivers, or maybe your console just runs out of battery, or the game just encounters a freeze because you don't have enough RAM. That essentially can corrupt the shader cache file. So I just went to Hunter rank 2 while testing. Okay, so we can see here we've got a nice stable, it's above 30, which is good, so we can lock it to 30 to get a smoother experience. But look, things are okay, things are great. What we need to actually do, and I will mention, like, if you look at the GPU and CPU, we still have a lot of headroom there to up the graphical settings in here, and it would still be able to run smoothly. But hey, anyway, what we need to do now is, because as I said, that file is like a temporary file, we want to kind of seal it for now. So we're going to come to quit the game, and we need to quit the game through here. Don't bring up this menu, don't go here and exit. We want to quit the game properly. Okay, this is going to create two files. Well, it might still be a write file, but that write file will get written again when we run the game. It might be the vkd3d-proton.cache.write still, but it'll be fine. But it's going to write another file into the folder, which is that shader file, the other shader file. Let's go here, modified. Yeah, so it's just written this one, and we can see this is still a .write file. That's okay, but see, we only have one file now. There's no there's no secondary file. It's just one .write file. So that's cool. That will get fixed as soon as we run the game again. And when we run the game again, it's going to be a very quick. There's two things that'll happen. One, it'll be a very quick one because the write file that's getting, I guess, sealed, and when we run it the third time, it should completely disappear. There should be zero zero shader building screen. So it's this small amount of, I guess, headaches right now that will help us when we want to just play the game much quickly in future. So just do these quick steps now and you'll be happy in future. Especially, I know that there are a couple of people on the channel who were commenting about how long it's taking them to run the game each time. So this will solve your issues for sure. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure this is how we solve it. So there, we just saw there was nothing with the, I mean, you might have the short one that will come up, like mine actually did the first time, had the very short one at the start, but we can just show ourselves again that this is gonna happen when we exit the game. We're gonna quit the game properly. And I'll just go in and test my theory about the .write file. So we should see here that hopefully it's a cache file, and it is. Cool. So that's it. That's as simple as that. And like I said, you don't need to be on this version that I'm on. All you need to, this version of Turnip that I am on, you just need to be making sure that you clean up those files by going through this process. Because yeah, it got corrupted somehow, and every time you change the Turnip driver, just go in, delete those those cache files, those shader cache files, and yeah, it should fix this problem for you. One other thing, I guess an extra bonus thing, is that if you do start playing with the environment variables that I love to do, such as when we spoof the NVIDIA GPU or we spoof AMD, whatever it is, when we do those kind of things, you will need to delete those cache files as well, and then build the shader cache from scratch, because the way that I could show you how it was broken and I had two files was by putting in the NVIDIA spoof I think I had in there, and then it was building those files because I already had a shader cache file based on the Game Fusion driver, which is in GameHub. So as we see, I've opened it a third time, and for you this might be the one, right? This might be the one that has, this third time is the one that will be no loading. So you should have a very slow loading from the very first build. You'll have a very slow bar, takes I think like 10 minutes or so. Then you'll have a quicker bar, and then you'll have no bar the third time for the shaders. So yeah, we've fixed it. It's taken a long time. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. I'm Peter. Please like, subscribe.